Hello, book lovers. Welcome to another episode of Cath-Lit Live. I am your host, Amy Cattapan. You can find me everywhere on social media under my pen name for my children's books, AJ Cattapan. I am so happy to be talking with you tonight because I have a brand new author friend who's just had her first novel published. She's written previously, but this is her first novel, and it's a middle grade novel. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but y'all know how much I love my middle grade novels since I'm a middle school English teacher. So tonight, my guest is Stephanie Weller Hanson. Now, she grew up in Ohio, graduated from the University of Iowa, and adventured in British Columbia, Georgia, and England before marrying and moving to Minnesota. She's a convert to the church, having found her faith at her university's Catholic Student Center. She's written poetry, essays, and a volume of short stories on the saints through St. Mary's Press. Her middle grade novel, A Dark and Desperate Race, was recently released by Pauline Books and Media. Help me welcome to the show, Stephanie Weller Hanson. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
Welcome to Cath-Lit Live, your first time on the show. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here. I've been listening to your show and I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind. Well, I love middle grade novels. I haven't had a chance to read yours. It just came out just a few weeks ago, right?
Yes.
So tell us a bit about A Dark and Desperate Race. The cover looks fantastic. What would we read about? Give us your little 30-second elevator pitch.
This story is set in the 1700s. Will Pennington of Lindenhelm can't wait to escape his demanding father, but his getaway plan is eclipsed by the discovery of a plan of invasion by the neighboring country of Meldur. Will has an unusual gift. He can smell danger. And when he encounters the stranger Cathar, he knows that the danger has arrived. Together with Matthias, a hermit, and Matthias' bossy young cousin, Madelyn, the three must cross a river in flood and evade an assassin and manage to reach the king in time.
Ooh, it sounds like a great adventure tale. I love it. He can smell danger. That could be a very handy trait.
It could be. It could be. Yeah, I agree.
So tell us about where did you get some of the ideas for this adventure tale?
I was casting around. I knew that I wanted to write for this age group. I was casting around for ideas and felt like I wasn't coming up with much. And then when I would get into bed at night before falling asleep, I would get this picture in my mind, a scene. And the scene was, it was in the mountains at night, and there were three people around a campfire. And two of them were sitting on the ground, and the third person was threatening them. And up in the shadows above them, a young boy was watching, and he was desperate to save his friends.
Wow.
That was all I had.
Wow, just an image.
Yes, that was where the story started. I really didn't know who they were, and it just flowed from there. I guess my husband would say it didn't flow easily sometimes, but but it did flow. It did flow. So
understandable. Well, having written my own middle grade adventure mystery tale, I know that I really struggled with mine. I thought I had an idea at first, and then I really struggled. I actually went and wrote something else and then came back to the middle grade one. But I also drew from like some of my own experiences. So do you want to tell us maybe about what of your own experiences maybe came up? Did some of your childhood experiences come in here?
I guess what I would say is I have vivid memories of being 14, which is Will's age. Anything from about 10 to 15 is an exciting time, but it's also a very demanding time for kids. They're beginning to separate from their parents. I was both very opinionated and very vulnerable and innocent. And I had lots of grand fantasies about doing great things in the world. But I had trouble coping with everyday life. And that's kind of where Will is. Um, I also had in mind a quote from a very wise vice principal who told me, kids this age are changing their personalities once a day and sometimes once an hour. And
As a
so,
middle school teacher, I can confirm.
yes, yes. And so when I was picturing how I wanted to develop Madelyn, that was what I had in mind because she is a girl who is pretty dramatic and she can put on a show. So yeah, so that's where that came from.
So is there
Um,
a bit of you in the character of Madelyn?
oh yeah, yeah. Well, they're both stubborn and so am I. But I
Okay.
always tell people, there's an upside to stubbornness, and that is persistence
Hmm.
and just never giving up. And that's especially true of Will, but it's true of Madelyn too.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. So I know in this age group, this middle grade kind of age group, um, we usually have some point, some ideas we're trying to get across, but we can't be preachy because that never goes over well with
Mhm.
them. So what are you hoping that your young readers take away from your book?
Well, I think there are three things. The first is um, kind of in reference to the smell and getting a sense of things. I want to encourage my readers to trust themselves. I think kids this age don't, and that if they have that little niggling sensation in the back of their brain that says something is off here, it's okay to pay attention to that. So that's number one. Number two is um, that love can reveal itself in many different ways. Um, the father in the story, Will's father, is a man who doesn't talk much. And so through the passage of the story, especially toward the end, you have to judge you have to judge him not by what he says, but by what he does. And that there are people out there like that.
Mhm.
Um, and the last thing is I want to tell them that I hope they will listen for God. That's a theme in the story, that taking time to be in the quiet, turning off the devices and listening, um, it will take them surprising places.
Yes, yes, yeah, amen. If we can get them to get into the quiet. I mean, we all do. I think so many of us tend to shun the quiet and fill our lives with noise, but it's
Mhm.
the what does Kelly call it? The classroom of silence, right? Where
Yes,
we can most hear God. Well,
yes.
where can people learn more about you, your books? Where should we send people so that if they want to check out A Dark and Desperate Race, where should they be looking?
I don't yet have a website, but they can go to Pauline Books and Media. That's where the book is on sale. So you can buy it from Pauline Books and Media. You can also buy it from Amazon. And I have an earlier book through St. Mary's Press in Winona um, called Holy Terrors and Gentle Souls. And that's 10 stories about saints. So,
Perfect. Is that one for young readers too?
yes,
Wonderful.
yes.
Wonderful. Well, Stephanie, it has been a pleasure to meet you and chat with you about your book. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful for this chance to chat with you, and I'm looking forward to reading your book.
Thank you. Thanks you. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good night. Thanks so much, Stephanie.
Thanks. Good night.
All right. Say goodbye to Stephanie there for a bit. So Pauline just reached out to me to ask if I would interview her, because as you may recall, last month I chatted with Sister Nancy, who also just had a book come out from Pauline. So different age group here with this interview, but I'm a sucker for a good middle grade book. So hopefully I'll have a chance to read that this summer once my own school year ends. Getting close, but not there yet. In the meantime, everybody, if you've read Stephanie's new book or her older book from St. Mary's Press, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you thought. And until next month, I'm just going to wish you some happy reading.